A homeless man walks into a Los Angeles restaurant where Bruce Lee is eating dinner. The man asks for food. The manager yells, "Get out. We don't serve your kind here." Bruce Lee stands up. Everyone expects a confrontation. What happens in the next 3 minutes doesn't just feed one hungry man. It changes his entire life. And what nobody discovers until 15 years later, after Bruce is gone, reveals that the real power wasn't in Bruce's fist. It was in his silent compassion. Los Angeles, California, March 1972, Friday evening, 7:30 p.m., an upscale Italian restaurant in West Hollywood. The kind of place with white tablecloths and candlelight and waiters in bow tie. The kind of place where a meal costs what some people make in a day. The kind of place that caters to Hollywood type actors, directors, producers, people with money and status and the assumption that they belong. Bruce Lee sits at a corner table, alone. He's been filming all day. Long day, exhausting day, fighting for every scene. Fighting for authentic representation, fighting against directors who want him to be more oriental and less human, fighting against a system that refuses to see Asian actors as leading men. He's tired, needs quiet, needs food, needs a moment to breathe. He's ordered simple, spaghetti, salad, water, nothing fancy. Bruce isn't here for the experience. He's here because it's close to the studio, because he can eat alone, because nobody will bother him. He's recognizable now, the Green Hornet, guest spots on TV shows, growing reputation, but not yet famous enough to be constantly interrupted. Still has moments of anonymity. Still can eat dinner in peace. The restaurant is half full. Couples on dates, business dinners, small groups celebrating something. The atmosphere is relaxed, sophisticated. The kind of place where voices stay low and problems stay outside. Where the real world doesn't intrude. Where money buys temporary escape from reality. Then the door opens. A man walks in, late 30s, disheveled, wearing torn jeans, a jacket that's seen better days, combat boots worn down. His hair is long, unkempt. His face is weathered, lined. The face of someone who's lived hard, slept rough, survived. He's carrying a backpack. Everything he owns probably fits in that bag. The man's name is Robert Chen. He's a Chinese American. He was born in San Francisco. He joined the army at 18. He served 2 tours in Vietnam. He saw war. He saw his friends die. He saw things that broke something inside him. In 1970, he returned home. He tried to readjust. He failed. Nightmares, flashbacks, unable to find work, unable to maintain relationship, unable to function in normal society. Eventually, he ended up on the street. He lived in shelters, under bridges, wherever he could find a place. Day after day, he struggled to survive. To most people, he was invisible, just another homeless person in a city full of homeless people. I'm pausing the video for a second. I spend so much time making story videos for you every day. All I ask is that you subscribe to this channel. Robert approaches the reception desk. The receptionist, a young man in his 20s, in an expensive suit with slicked back hair, looks at Robert with immediate disgust. He doesn't see a veteran. He doesn't see a human being. He sees a problem. He sees someone who doesn't belong. He sees someone who will drive away paying customer. Robert whispered, "Excuse me, I'm very hungry. Can I have something to eat? Anything. I can wash the dishes. I can clean. Whatever it takes. Just, I haven't eaten anything for 2 days." The waiter didn't hesitate. He said loudly, "Get out. We don't serve the homeless here. This is a respectable establishment. Leave before we call the police." The restaurant fell silent. Conversations stopped. People turned. They looked, some with pity, some with disgust, and some with that carefully cultivated indifference that allowed them to ignore human suffering and feel no guilt. Robert stood there, humiliated, helpless, but too tired to argue, too hungry to defend his dignity. "Please, just some bread, something, anything," he said. The host raises his voice, says, "I said get out. We don't serve your kind here. You're making customers uncomfortable. Leave." Robert's shoulders slump. He turns to leave. Another rejection. Another reminder that he's invisible. That he doesn't matter. That society has no place for broken veterans. For people who served their country and came home damaged. He's almost at the door when he hears a voice. Wait. The voice is calm, firm, carries authority. Everyone turn. Bruce Lee stands up from his corner table. Walks toward Robert. The restaurant holds its breath. Everyone knows who Bruce Lee is. Knows his reputation. Knows he's a martial artist. Knows he's capable of violence. Is he going to remove the homeless man? Going to enforce the host's demand? Going to protect the restaurant's atmosphere? Bruce approaches Robert, looks at him, really looks at him, not with disgust, not with pity, with recognition, with seeing. Bruce sees the combat boots, the military bearings still visible beneath the dirt and exhaustion. The tattoo on Robert's hand, USMC, Marine Corps. Bruce sees not a homeless man but a veteran, person, someone who served, someone who sacrificed, someone who deserves respect. Bruce turns to the host, says, He's eating with me. We'll take a table for two. The host stammers, says, Mr. Lee, I don't think that. Bruce interrupts, says, I'm a paying customer. I'm inviting this gentleman to join me. Is that a problem? The host looks around. Other customers watching. Can't refuse Bruce Lee. Can't risk the scene. Can't afford the bad publicity. Says reluctantly, no, Mr. Lee, no problem. Right this way. Bruce gestures to Robert, says, come, sit with me. Robert is stunned, confused. This famous actor, this martial arts master just defended him, just invited him to dinner, just treated him like a human being when everyone else treats him like garbage. Robert follows Bruce to the table, sits down carefully, like he might break something, like he doesn't belong in this chair, in this restaurant, in this moment. Bruce sits across from him, signals a waiter, says, bring us two of everything, two dinner, two dessert, and pack one full meal to go. Large portion. The waiter writes it down. Leave. Bruce looks at Robert, says, I'm Bruce. What's your name? Robert says quietly, Robert Chen. Bruce's expression changes slightly. Recognition, says, Chen, you're Chinese. Robert nods, says, Chinese American, born in San Francisco, like you. Bruce says, like me. There's connection in those words. Shared heritage, shared experience of being Chinese in America, of being other, of being foreign in your own country. Bruce sees himself in Robert, sees what could have been, sees the randomness of fate that put one in Hollywood and the other on the street. Bruce says, how long have you been on the street? Robert says, 2 years, since I got back from Vietnam. Second tour, Marines. I tried to. I couldn't adjust, couldn't hold job, couldn't sleep, couldn't stop seeing. I lost everything, lost my apartment, lost contact with my family, lost myself. Bruce listens, doesn't interrupt, doesn't judge, just listen. The food arrived, 2 full dinners, steaming, beautiful, more food than Robert has seen in months. Robert looks at it, tears in his eyes, says, I don't know how to thank you. Bruce says, don't thank me, just eat, enjoy. You earned this. You served your country. You sacrificed. This is the least you deserve. If you've ever witnessed someone doing another a favor only after experiencing cruelty, would you share that moment with us in the comments? They're eating. Robert is trying to eat slowly, trying to maintain his dignity, but he's so hungry, so desperate. He eats faster. Bruce doesn't comment. He doesn't shame him. He just eats his own food. He gives Robert space. He gives him dignity. They talk while they eat. Robert tells his story. He was born in San Francisco, Chinatown. His family had a small grocery store. He wanted to serve. He wanted to prove that Chinese Americans were real Americans. He enlisted in the military at a young age. Proud, innocent. Vietnam broke that. Death, chaos. Realizing that the war was wrong. Realizing that he was killing people who looked like his relative. Realizing that he was fighting for politicians who didn't care about him. He came home different, devastated. He couldn't talk about it. He couldn't digest it. He fell apart. Bruce shares his story. Growing up across cultures. Hong Kong and America, not belonging anywhere quite, fighting racism in Hollywood, fighting stereotype, the struggle to be seen as a human being, not an exotic creature. Different struggle, the same underlying principle, trying to belong in a country that questions your right to exist. They finish their meal. Bruce asks for the bill. He also orders takeout, large portion, enough for several days. The waiter brings it all. Bruce looks at the bill. He doesn't just pay for his table. He pays for the entire restaurant, every table, every customer, hundreds of dollars. On top of that, he leaves a generous tip. The waiter is shocked. Mr. Lee, this is for all the table. I mean, he says. Bruce says, I meant exactly the amount I paid. Everyone is eating tonight. It's on me. He hands Robert the takeout bag, full of food, enough for days. This is for later, for tomorrow, whenever you need it. Robert is now crying. Tears are streaming down his face. He can't stop them. Why? Why are you doing this? You don't know me, he says. Bruce says, I know enough. I know you did your military service. I know you struggled. I know society let you down. I know you deserve better. That's enough. Bruce writes something on a napkin. He hands the napkin to Robert. An address. Bruce says, this is a friend of mine. He runs a warehouse. He's looking for workers. Night shift. Loading. Unloading. Hard work, but it pays well. Tell him I sent you. He'll give you a chance. No questions asked. Just work. Robert takes the napkin. He looks at it. A job. A chance. A way out. I don't have an address. I don't have clean clothes. I have nothing, he says. Bruce interrupts him. He pulls out cash. Few bill. Bruce says, there's a motel 2 blocks from the warehouse. Weekly rates. Pay for a week. Clean up. Rest. Then go to work. Work hard. Rebuild. You can do this. Bruce gets up to leave. Robert gets up too. I'll pay you back. Promise. Every penny. He says. Bruce puts his hand on his shoulder. Don't repay me. Pass on the kindness to others. When you're stable, when you're on your own 2 feet, find someone else who needs help. Help them like I helped you. That's the payment. That's how a better world is built. Bruce leaves. He walks into the night. Robert stands there, holding the takeout bag, holding holding the napkin, holding the money, for the first time in 2 years, holding hope. The other restaurant customers are surprised, grateful that their meals have been paid for, but they don't understand why, about what they just witnessed, about why Bruce Lee paid for everyone's meal. That night, Robert goes to the motel. He pays the week's fee. He takes a hot shower for the first time in months. He sleeps in bed. He cries into the pillow, not from sadness, from relief, from gratitude, from the overwhelming kindness of a stranger who saw him when everyone else avoided eye contact. 3 days later, Robert goes to the warehouse, nervous, afraid, but he goes. He finds the manager. "Bruce Lee sent me," he says. The manager's face changes. Recognition, respect. "You're hired. Start tonight. Work hard. Be quiet and you'll be fine," he says. Robert works that night, and the next night, and the night after that. The work is hard, physical, demanding, but Robert doesn't care. He has a purpose again. He has a routine. He gets paid. He has a future. What Robert doesn't know, what nobody knows for 15 years, is that Bruce didn't just give him a job reference. Bruce paid Robert's rent for 6 months directly to the motel owner. Anonymous payment with instructions: let Robert Chen stay. If he asks about rent, tell him it's been handled. Don't tell him who paid. Just let him work. Let him rebuild. Bruce also paid the warehouse manager not to hire Robert. The manager would have done that anyway, but to keep an eye on him, to report back, to let Bruce know if Robert needed anything. Medical care, work clothes, emergency help. Bruce set up a support system, silent, invisible, asking nothing in return, expecting no credit, just helping because it was right, because Robert needed help, because society failed him and Bruce wouldn't. For 6 months, Bruce received weekly updates. Robert was working, showing up, doing well, saving money, getting healthy, reconnecting with his sister, rebuilding his life. The reports made Bruce happy, satisfied, proud, not of himself, of Robert, of his resilience, of his courage to accept help and use it to transform. After 6 months, Bruce stopped the rent payment. Robert was stable enough, had saved enough, could support himself. Bruce told the motel owner, "He doesn't need me anymore. He's got this." And that was it. Bruce moved on, helped others, quietly, invisibly, never seeking credit, never telling anyone. July 1973. Bruce Lee dies. 32 years old. The world mourned. Millions of fans, fellow actors, martial artists, everyone Bruce touched, everyone he inspired, everyone he helped. The tributes pour in. Stories emerge. People Bruce helped, people he taught, people he changed. Each story reveals more kindness, more generosity, more quiet compassion. Robert Chen reads the news. Can't believe it. Bruce is gone. The man who saved him, who gave him hope, who helped him rebuild. Robert wants to attend the funeral, wants to pay respect, wants to say thank you one more time, but the funeral is in Hong Kong. Robert can't afford the trip, can't take time off work, can't go. Instead, Robert writes a letter to Linda Lee, Bruce's widow, tells his story, the restaurant, the kindness, the job, the fresh start, says Bruce saved his life, says he owes Bruce everything, says he wants the family to know what Bruce did, how he helped, how he changed lives quietly, privately, without seeking recognition. Linda receives the letter, reads it through tears. She knew Bruce was generous, knew he helped people, but she didn't know about Robert. Bruce never mentioned it, never told her, just helped and moved on. That was Bruce. Silent kindness, private compassion, helping because it was right, not because it would be noticed. Linda writes back, thanks Robert, tells him Bruce would be proud of his progress, proud of his resilience, proud that he paid it forward, because by now, Robert had started volunteering at veteran service, helping other homeless vets, sharing his story, giving back the way Bruce asked, paying it forward. 15 years passed. 1988. A journalist is writing a book about Bruce Lee, researching his life, his impact, his legacy, looking for untold stories, unknown kindnesses. The journalist interviews hundreds of people, finds dozens of stories like Robert, people Bruce helped, anonymously, quietly, asking nothing in return. The journalist tracks down Robert Chen, now stable, employed, helping others. The journalist asks about that night in 1972. Robert tells the full story. The restaurant, the humiliation,
Bruce's intervention,
the dinner, the job reference. But then the journalist investigates further, finds the motel owner, the warehouse manager, discovers the 6 months of rent, the support system, the silent safety net Bruce created. The journalist asks Robert, did you know Bruce paid your rent for 6 months? Robert is shocked, says, what? No, I thought I was saving money, living cheap. I thought I paid my own rent. I didn't know. He never told me. Robert sits down, overwhelmed. Bruce didn't just help him once. Bruce supported him for 6 months, made sure he had stability, made sure he could succeed, and never told him, never asked for credit, never expected thanks, just helped and moved on. Robert says to the journalist, that's who Bruce was. He didn't help people for recognition. He helped because it was right, because people needed help. I thought I climbed out through my own strength. Now I learned Bruce was holding a safety net the whole time, making sure I didn't fall. That's love. That's real compassion. The journalist publishes the book in 1990. Bruce Lee, the man beyond the legend. Robert's story is a full chapter. The restaurant, the kindness, the 6 months of secret support. The journalist includes dozens of similar stories. Bruce helping people, paying medical bills, funding education, supporting struggling families, all done quietly, privately, most people never knowing until years later. The book becomes a bestseller, not because of the martial art, because of the humanity, because Bruce Lee, the action star, the fighter, the legend, was also this, was also kindness, was also compassion, was also someone who saw homeless veterans and didn't look away, saw suffering and did something about it, saw need and met it, without camera, without publicity, without reward. Robert Chen is interviewed for television, news programs, talk shows. Everyone wants to hear the story. The homeless veteran Bruce Lee saved. Robert tells it every time, but he always ends the same way. Bruce didn't save me. He gave me tools, gave me opportunity, gave me hope, but I did the work. I rebuilt my life. Bruce just made sure I had a foundation to build on. That's the difference. He didn't want to be my savior. He wanted to be my support, and that's more valuable. That's more respectful. That's real help. In 1993, Robert opens a nonprofit Veterans Services Center, helping homeless vets, giving them what Bruce gave him: food, shelter, job connections, support, dignity. The center helps hundreds, then thousands. Robert names it the Bruce Lee Veterans Foundation. Every veteran who comes through learns Bruce's story, learns about paying it forward, learns about helping quietly, about seeing people, about treating everyone with dignity. Robert Chen is now 78 years old, still volunteers at the foundation, still tells Bruce's story, still helps veterans. He's helped thousands, all because Bruce helped him. All because one night in 1972, a famous actor saw a homeless veteran and didn't look away, saw a person, saw worth, saw potential, and helped quietly, privately, completely. Robert says in a 2020 interview, people ask me if Bruce Lee was really as good as the movies made him look. I say he was better. The movies showed his physical skill, but they couldn't show his heart, couldn't show his compassion, couldn't show that he used his fame and money to help people who couldn't help themselves, that he saw value in people's society threw away, that he believed everyone deserved dignity. That's who Bruce Lee was, not just a fighter, a human being who cared. If Bruce's kindness changed how you see strength, drop a comment. Let's see how far compassion can spread. The restaurant still exists, different owners now, but they know the story. There's a small plaque near the entrance. In 1972, Bruce Lee bought dinner for every customer in this restaurant and changed one man's life forever. Remember, kindness is strength. Every year, on the anniversary of that night, the restaurant donates meals to homeless shelters. Hundreds of meals, in Bruce's name, in Robert's honor, in memory of one act of kindness that rippled forward through decades, through thousands of lives, through endless cycles of paying it forward. That's legacy, not in film, not in fight scenes, not in martial arts techniques, in changed lives, in helped people, in quiet acts of compassion that spread like waves. One person helping another, that person helping another, forever forward, forever growing, forever proving that real strength isn't in your fist, it's in your heart. It's in seeing people who society makes invisible. It's in helping without seeking credit. It's in doing what's right when nobody's watching. Bruce Lee was watching. Bruce Lee was seeing. Bruce Lee was helping. And because he did, because he saw Robert Chen when everyone else looked away, thousands of veterans found help, found hope, found their way back from the street. That's immortality. That's impact. That's power that echoes forever.